Alright, this here is going to be a quick video about drilling and how to deal with the shelves. I ended up accidentally deleting the one where I would show how to do that, so I'm going to do it all over again. Basically what you want to do when you drill these holes and whatever is to make sure that when you get a drill that has a little level gauge on it here, so you can hold this thing level like this. You can observe where the bubble is, and you can hold it at a direct or as close as to a 90-degree angle to the surface of the shelf as you possibly can in order to prevent this thing from jumping. Because if the hole saw, for whatever reason, ever catches at an angle, there's a possibility that it can tear or rip the shelf up, and that's not very good at all. Another thing I wanted to point out that you get an arbor that protrudes out of the rim of the hole saw. Because what happens is when you're dealing with this drilling here, you want to make sure that you can drill a hole that will help to center the hole saw before this hole saw digs into it. That also helps to prevent damage. Because just drilling with a hole saw alone, you know, with an arbor that has a short bit on it, you're basically drilling like this, and this can easily jump or catch, or it becomes a lot more difficult. Just want to point those few things out. And also, final bit here is when you're drilling, want to let you know that when you trace everything out and stuff, I highly recommend that when you trace things, which isn't hard, basically all you need to do is lay your components where you need to. And once you lay the components where you need to, just trace out underneath on the bottoms of them, you know, where you want to drill the hole. So you would just put this here on the top of the shelf, and then take a Sharpie or whatever and just go around the edge of the barb fitting or whatever it is. And then you can just put this in the center where that is, and then drill down. So that's not a hard thing to do. And when you're drilling the shelves, make sure that you don't have one shelf on top of another. So this right here, I don't exactly recommend you do. First off, I recommend that you start here from the bottom and just get this whole thing constructed here. Don't have this on top yet, so that when you're drilling, you can actually see where that level of gauge is. Because if you can't see where this level gauge is, you're going to be in trouble. Because then you have a much higher chance of this thing getting at an angle, because you can't see exactly where this thing is in terms of being level, and it's very finicky with that. And you could possibly destroy your shelf. So make sure that when you're drilling this shelf, so say that you're drilling this shelf, make sure you don't have this on top of it. And then when you're done drilling this one, you drill this, you put this one on top and you drill this, and then when you're done with this, you just go in succession from there on out. And as for little square holes like this, you don't need to do that because you're using a Dremel, and a Dremel's not a big problem. Just remember when you're dealing with a Dremel, wear eye protection, and when you're dealing with shelves like this, you also have, see if I can show you, you also have a bar or a little bit of plastic a little piece of plastic to reinforce the shelf that runs kind of in a runs across. Let me show you just how it goes. There's a little piece, at least for this shelf, that runs like this, directly through the center of the width of the length here, and also to the width there's another piece that runs underneath like this. I'll show you where it is right here, because you're going to have to drill through that as well. I'm going to stop this camera with this. Getting a little distracting. There's a piece right there, and then it just goes across to here. Can't exactly see it because of the camera angle, but that runs all the way through the length of this thing right here. And a lot of times the cutting wheel on the Dremel or whatever you're using, I highly recommend you do not use a razor blade. So the razor blade can jump And you can have just a straight, you can have something that, just a straight cut going out the middle of nowhere that's not anywhere near part of what you want to cut. And as this thing, wears and stuff like that, you can end up cracking the shelf, and that's what happened to my last Hydrautomat. So I recommend you don't cut anything. I recommend you use like a saw or something like that. Anyway, the cutting wheel, the Dremel, usually does not reach all the way to the bottom of this thing, so you have to usually go and you need to go to the go underneath the thing and then cut it from the bottom side up. Cut what's left of it. So just want to point all that stuff out. That's how you would cut the holes and things like that for the Hydrautomat. Okay, so now we're going to do a just a overview, concluding this segment of where everything's going to go. These two are going to be for the drain tank here. The siphon is actually going to run underneath. At least for my version, it's going to run underneath because I have just an elbow, so that this right here is going to go on the top of this tank, and this tube can slide underneath here, go out through the side, and connect to the operating tank. So that's how this thing can go. Anyway, so we have this right here. This will be for the pulley, an opening for the pulley system to go up. We'd actually have another hole right here someplace, just the same dimension roughly, so that'd be kind of shoddy, but this right here would be for the pulley as well, and this is where the pulley would tie in. So there'd be one wire would go up through here and just wrap around through the edge right there. So this thing here would basically go around like this and around that hole, and you tie it off. This here would hold the pulley. This is a little clip here, so you could take the pulley on, pull it, take it off. And that's what that would do right there. And this right here would be the operating tank. These two holes here, so this would be for the siphon, and this right here would be for the feed tube. This would be the tube going into the drain tank. Then through this tube right here, this would go up here, and this other part here would be the input, and this would lead into the feed tank. So what happens is the feed tank wire would go down through the feed tank, go up through here, out through this pipe, and into the operating tank through this hole right here, and also out through the siphon through this hole here. Anyway, they're on top of the operating tank. Like I said before, this is just useless right here. This is not part of the Hydrautomat. This is just another concept I was messing with. This right here is the air tube. This is part of the Hydrautomat. So this tube right here will go upward. All right, preferably out through here to avoid the feed tank, because the feed tank's gonna be this giant bulky thing. And air tube will go up through here. Go up through here as well. Through this hole here. I have it drilled here, unfortunately. You might want to make a hole right here. This is where I recommend you drill it, because you already have a hole here in the corner, so why have it over here? So anyway, you have the tube go up here. You have a T, so part of the T would be facing here as well as here, so you'd have it like this. So you would have the tube coming up, have the T split here, and middle of the T would lead around, go to the first stage air tube, which is right here, and the first stage would be hanging about right here. That's where this would be. And second part of that air tube would lead up through here and go in here to stage 3. So have that there, and what else? Anyway, have the feed tank here. These two holes are for the feed tank. This would be a 3-inch. This would be a 2-inch. The air tube only needs to be 1 inch, although I just took a 3-inch hole saw, saw where I was supposed to drill them, and forgot about the differences in the sizes, and I just had a 3 inches the whole way through, and you don't need this. I mean, this is going to be a 1/2-inch tube, 1/2-inch OD tube, outer diameter tube, going through a 3-inch piece. You don't need this, but I already drilled it, and I'm not going to plastic weld the thing back in. So it sits as it does. This needs to be 3 inches or 2 inches, whatever the size, whatever the bulkhead you're using, whatever the diameter of the bulkhead that you're using is. This needs to be bigger than that, so that this can fit in very snugly. This will be a 2 inch, as it is on mine. If you use just you use all black bulkhead fittings, this here's going to be a 3/4 inch bulkhead. Bulkhead for a 3/4 inch OD fitting, so you probably need a bigger one. But for the one I have with the 1/2 inch, 2 inches is fine with these guys. And with these giant gray ones here, as you can see, that 3/4 inch one, I need to use a 3 inch wide one. So this right here is for the feed tank. This is for your pulley. This is for an air tube. This should be 1 inch rather than 3. This should be another 1 inch right here, and have it in a dotted line pattern to show you where it should be. These 3 right here that I drilled are all for this stage 2. I have this underlined to show you. This right here, you don't need. This is for the air tube where I drilled it, although it should be right here, and that's where I suggest you do it rather than here. And the air tube does not need to be 2 inches. It only needs to be 1 inch. There's no reason for that extra size. Anyway, this right here, these 2 are for the first stage. So you have the breather tube, which would be right here, and you have the air tube, which would be right here. Or it could be the opposite way. I mean, it doesn't matter, because the air tube's going to lead over to here, and the breather tube is going to, you might have to drill another hole for the breather tube, because what's going to happen is that spout is that fitting, the bar fitting is going to be standing up like this, and the tube's going to have to go to the bottom of this tank here. So you might want to drill a hole here, or even right through all the way to here, or run it back through the same hole where this thing is, and then thread under here, or just drill a hole right here, have the air tube right here, and then have this breather tube go down in here, then loop around, and then go up into where the breather tube is sticking up, about, I think, here or something. And you have it connect there at the bottom of the S2 tank. Anyway, so that's where we have these. And as you can see, this would be the stage 3. Got a 2 inch hole here for the bulkhead fitting, and you got 1/4 inch holes here that are just big. That are big enough for the wire to sit in. You don't want them too big, because you just want the wire to come through. You don't want it to be really tight. That's a hassle to pull it through. But you want it to be big enough that you want it to be small enough that it holds onto this thing. Anyway, just drill 4 holes around it. Try not to compress, try and grip the edges of the tank. I have these made, didn't point this out before, but the way this is made, kind of, you see how these corners are? That's why I have the holes drilled on the sides of the thing here. I'll show you firsthand. That's why I have the holes back here rather than up further, because what they do is when they run the wire over the top, the wire sticks right here, and if this thing ever wants to move around, you have this wire sitting on the top. So you have resistance here, it would have resistance here, so it doesn't want to move either way, because the wires are holding it down and keeping it from sliding around and coming loose from the wires that are holding it. That's why I have these drilled behind this little crevice, or whatever you want to call it, this curve here, corner, whatever you want to call it. That's why I have it drilled like that. And I have the air tube here. Once again, it only needs to be 1 inch, not the 3 inch thing that I drilled here. Or actually 2 inch, not 3 inch, but 2 inch hole I drilled here. It only needs to be 1 inch for the air tube hole. And or maybe it needs to be 2 inches, because you got 1.5 inches or 2 inches or something. So you can have 2 1/2 inch OD tubes coming up through here. So one would go to the air tube, another would be from the S2 tank pumping water up into the reservoir tank, up through here and touching the reservoir tank, which would be right here. And you got the 4 holes drilled right here. I'm probably gonna have to make some plans up and stuff like that. But as you can see, that's how these guys are arranged. And I'll probably take some take some pictures too before I put all the components and stuff together, so you can see how everything looks. So this will kind of serve as a blueprint here. Anyway, that's the overview for right now.